In a world where the dogshit gods were in full control, the first season under GW resulted in a playoff final for Leeds United. Chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and you guessed it, after chance. But Leeds were unable to break the deadlock and were duly punished by Ipswich Town. Despite late chances, Leeds remained in the Championship for the following season. The following season, though, proved to be a bit more fruitful, as Leeds finished in the runners-up spot to Queen's Park Rangers. It was decided in this game versus Nottingham Forest, as Leeds went out 5-1 winners, much to GW's delight. Go on, son. It was to be the first time that Leeds United had been in the Premier League since 2003-04 season, when they were last relegated due to financial trouble. The first year in the Premier League saw Leeds return to Old Trafford for the first time since January the 3rd, 2010. We all know what happened in that game, but a ridiculous burst of pace from Zlatan Ibrahimovic ensured that Manchester United took all 3 points, despite the best efforts of the Leeds attack. Leeds returned to the Europa League and did really well the first time of asking, finishing in the semi-finals, losing out to Atletico Madrid 10-8 on aggregate. It was such a great game, full of fails and awful play, but some really nice goals. But it really was a learning curve for the Ellen Road outfit, and it was clear how much work was ahead in terms of transfers and tactical nous. Atletico Madrid though were one of the better teams and one of the favourites to win the title, so you couldn't get too disappointed with this result.
Today we've got the FA Cup final, which reminds me, I've got to get my suit on. Right, now ready to go. Birthday suit for the win. So come on, let's kick some.
Gotta put some clothes on.
What?
Can't be at Wembley with no clothes on. You can put some clothes on.
Man. Right, now we're ready for the FA Cup final.
So with the lows, there came some highs, and in this case it was the FA Cup final versus Fulham. But it wasn't without its nervy moments. Leeds went 1-0 up, and then Fulham got the equaliser with 10 minutes to go. But luckily an instant reaction goal was enough to see Leeds win the FA Cup for the first time since the 70s. Leeds returned to the Europa League the same season, and much to the dismay of everyone involved at Leeds United, they found themselves 4-0 down in the second leg after winning the first leg 4-2. And it was all thanks to Icardi. He just scored at every single touch, 5 goals in all, and the match finished 6-3. And that was the end of any European hopes. Leeds now find themselves with 1 game to go with a slight chance of finishing in the Champions League. We've seen some great goals over the course of this series. With 1 match to go, can Leeds qualify for the Champions League? Can we do it? Let's find out.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the series finale of Life at Leeds. Today we're going to have a live com against Watford. They are 19th in the league, and it must be like a nailed-on victory, right? No, it's not going to be like that, is it? We had a game against Watford last time out, and I'll let you know how that turned out. So basically, if you can see it down at the bottom, we drew 4-4 with Norwich. They were 18th at the time. In fact, they still are. But yeah, Watford are already relegated. You might be thinking, well, it's a surefire win at least for your G. Problem is, Manchester City, their final game of the season is against, where are we? Schedule. Blackburn Rovers. And where are Blackburn? 20th in the league. 20th in the league. So, yeah, it's pretty much nailed on. We're not going to finish in the Champions League, which, to those who were hoping we're going to get in the Champions League, it's looking unlikely now that I'm going to be doing the Twitch stream. It was only going to be for the one Champions League season anyway, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if we can do it. But before that, let's have a look at today's opponents, who are, of course, Watford. So the manager of Watford at this moment in time is Paul Lambert, and on paper he's a very, very good manager. Just worth noting as well at this point, because I forgot to mention it. I finally got the Logitech C290 camera. It's a 1080p one. Hopefully it'll look a little bit better here. It does mean that I managed to figure out how to narrow the square a little bit, so I've got like my green screen was taking up so much room before. Now it's not an issue, so at least that's something. But anyway, back into the game. Lambert, very good manager on paper. Is he going to be good enough to beat us today? We'll have to wait and see. The captain is Matty James, and yeah, he's a decent player. A couple of 16s and 15s kicking about, but he's not really setting the world alight, is he? But still, will probably do a job as a backup for my team. Vice captain is Jake Bidwell, and we'll be bidding farewell. Kind of a playing his name, sort of swung it slightly. I don't know. Let us know if that was a crap one or not. I'm pretty sure it was. But again, very average, 2-star player at best according to this. It remains to be seen whether he's actually going to play. We'll have to wait and see. The key player is, I think he's a bit of a wonder kid at the start of the game. Adalberto Penaranda. He is, well, he's quick, bit of a flair player, works hard, decent at finishing. So he's definitely going to be one to look out for in a danger sense. But the team for the last ever game, potentially, obviously if we do the Twitch stream it's different, but if we don't get Champions League, it's the final team lineup here. We've got Rajkovic in goal for his sins because of all the goals he concedes. We've got Campos at right back, Gaya at left back with Veltman and Big Ken in the middle of defence. We've got Lerma and Father Gabriel in the middle of the park with Watt on the left, Pereira on the right, Isaac and Graf continue up top. We'll have a look at the end of the season review after this game. I'm hoping to get through it quickly so we can do just that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Today's game is brought to you live from Ellen Road. It's Leeds United FC against Watford FC. So, I know it's not a rival as such, but I'm just going to say, you know, the fans have been fantastic for us all season. They have. Let's give them one last performance to cheer for. It's kind of fitting, and they've kind of reacted quite well to that. So I'm hoping it's going to provide us with a decent, performance today. Right, so the game's underway. I just want to mention that just keep your eyes peeled towards the back end of this video. There is going to be a bit of a sneak preview as to what's going to be involved in my next series, so keep your eyes peeled. But into this game, and obviously it's a kick-off. It could just be the opening highlight, which means nothing happens. Yeah, there you go. Alright, Gaya has a throw deep in our own half. Found a Pereira with a delightful ball, but it's a bit of a loose pass. Fortunately, it's cleaned up by Big Ken, and Campos is coming forward now on the right-hand side. He's not really been challenged yet, and he's still going. Pereira finds Graf in field. He's got into the area. He's got a few players around him. Pereira, whip it out wide right. Campos plays it in. What the hell happened there? We've hit the post. Oh, it's a fail of the week. Perfectly timed because I'm going to be using some more fails of the week. I'm getting quite a bit of a backlog rather. I lost my words there, but look at this. Jordan Pickford has been involved in a couple, to be fair. Hits his ass. And it's gone over the line. All he has to do is pick it up and he just... What is that? Yeah, I've just decided to put the table on. Was worth noting, if they were to draw, Man City that is, and we were to win, we would take that fourth spot. So there is that outlet as well. Obviously Blackburn have got no pressure on whatsoever because they're already down. But I'm not holding out much hope. But all we can do is do our job, and if we finish fourth, then so be it. It's crossed in towards what makes it 2-0. It's hard to get excited because, I just Man City at home against Blackburn Rovers, we're already down. I can't expect that to end that way. I mean, 2-0 up after 9 minutes is fantastic. And Campos has been brilliant this season as a whole, to be fair to him. But that's a great ball. And Watt there at the back post, heads it in. Right, Watford have a throw. And is showcasing exactly, Jenkins is showcasing exactly why it's so bad is this game for throw-ins, which is straight to the opposition so many times. Pereira's on it though, he's wide right, can he whip it in? He's got players queuing in the box, Isaac's one of them, he scores, gets his 32nd goal of the season. What a return from him, what a return from Graf as well, because I think he's on the same, might be one less. And yeah, it's just been goals galore as this season. I can't believe how much difference in our defence has been, considering we've had better players, but never mind. And there you go up there, Aguero scored a penalty, it's 1-0 to Man City. As it stands, we will be finishing 5th. But I don't think there's any danger of us dropping out of dropping below 5th into 6th. But yeah, not too bad. We finished 6th. It's 4-0. But we finished 6th, 5th, and 5th. Looking at this in our Premier League season, so can't be, it's not a bad return really. I mean, I would have liked to progress into the Champions League. Sadly, it wasn't to be. I think that's what we were lacking. We needed that Champions League qualification just to get a decent defender, because no decent defenders wanted to come. The ones that I wanted were too expensive, and I just couldn't afford the wages, i.e. like the ones that are in China. But otherwise, like the players in the top divisions, I mean, that's a great turn of pace from Veltman, it has to be said. He's not that slow. I think he's got 13 pace and just got absolutely blown away by Penaranda. And to rub the salt into the wounds, the most overrated young centre-back going, John Stones has scored. What a goal from Father Gabriel. Although, you've got to question Jordan Pickford with his handling there. It was a bit turd, but I'm not complaining. But yeah, Stones has scored to make it 2-0. That pretty much settles it. I can't see there being a resurgence now from Blackburn Rovers. But yeah, on the half volley, smashed it straight at him. He's waving at someone in the crowd and just accidentally touched the ball and it goes in. Again, not complaining. So it's half time, and all can be is passionate really and just say fantastic, because they've done the job. It's 5-0 at half time. Can't see Watford getting back into it. I mean, stranger things have indeed happened, but never mind. Right, so we're approaching the 60-minute mark, and that's a bad challenge from Jenkinson. That's a tame header straight to Pickford. Still 2-0 Man City. Right, Penaranda's on the attack. He's charging forward. He gets by 2 defenders and puts it over the bar. Don't know why I'm getting more excited for Watford making a comeback. So I'm basically just bringing on, just making changes for the sake of it now, just for the last run outs. Cheeky Nando's is going to come off Marcus Graf even. Eunice is coming on, he's got a bit of an injured shoulder injury. It is coming off for Watt and Christian Eriksen for Parade. It's changing the wingers and one of the strikers. 5-0, there's no danger of us losing this game, as I said before. Yeah, we just got to hope that Blackburn make a comeback, but I just can't see it. Right. So there's literally been no highlights whatsoever, and there's 3 minutes to go. It's looking like it could be a Watford highlight here, as Isaac's success feeds through Penaranda even, and does score, makes it 5-1, consolation goal. And yeah, I do apologise if I'm not making eye contact with the camera. It's not in the same position, because I've moved my desk around and everything, just so I can fit my green screen in with a little less hassle. What is that save attempt for Rajkovic? Never mind, 5-1. Man City have actually bettered our result. They've won 5-0 against Blackburn, and there it is. That is the end of the season and the series. It's a good win in the end, but yeah, there it is in all its glory. 5th place, ahead of Southampton, who did beat West Brom 2-0 to finish in 6th. But yeah, the goal difference is 3rd best overall. We'll have a look at that just shortly now. We'll get into the next part and then we'll have a look. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to have a quick look at the table in full and have everything in detail, and then we're going to finish up by having a look at past players, past favourites who we used to use before, and see how they've got on since they've left the Mighty Whites. So we'll start off with this season, of course. We finished 5th, scored 117 goals but conceded 80. Only bottom side, Blackburn Rovers conceded more. They conceded 93 in total, but no one was anywhere near us in terms of goals scored, which was the one saving grace. But absolutely shocking performance in terms of defence. If we have a look at the home record first, we were second overall. 15 wins, 1 draw and 3 losses, which I didn't think was a bad return. Away record, unfortunately, with Torres like a bottom half with 7 wins, 2 draws and 10 losses, which, you know, isn't a bad sort of record really, but when you're pushing for the top 4 spots and higher, then you need to be doing better than that. I mean, we're like the lowest qualifying for Europe team by quite some distance in terms of our away form. So now we're going to have a look at who actually who performed well and who played turd, basically. We're going to have a quick look at the top app makers, which Predrag Rajkovic, I do want to highlight him actually, purely for the fact to see how many goals he actually conceded. Conceded 106 in total, 80 in the league. Yeah, it's not good, is it? But it still comes out with above a 7 in average rating terms, so I think the game could be broken slightly. Let us know what you think. But moving on, we have Ongwene, the most outfield appearances, 49 in all, which isn't bad. And then ignore Critchlow, he was a loanee out elsewhere. Veltman got 42, Campos 39 starts, and Pereira 38 starts. We're not going to look at the top 5. The goals, there's a lot of goals, a lot of double figures. 6 players all in all, and 3 players just won off double figures. We got 33 goals for Isaac, 30 goals for Graf, Cheek and Anders for 19, or with 19 rather. Kyle Watt picking up 18, which is very, very promising indeed, to be fair. And Zach Clough got 16. Worth noting, most of the team I've got a promise to qualify for the Champions League, so I'm probably going to have to lose about at least half of them. But never mind. But other notable ones, obviously Pereira, Yunus, Green and Eriksson getting quite a few goals as well. Assist makers, Pereira leads away with 26, with 21 for Alexander Isaac and 20 for Graf. Green making, having a bit part season, scoring 9 goals and assisting 14 from 19 starts, which I didn't think was bad. And Yunus picking up 12 assists as well, and he missed most of the season as well through injury in African Nations Cup. But average ratings, this is the big one for me. Isaac, the top performer, with 7.56. Andre Green again, look, 7.55. Maybe I should have played him more. Graf with a 7.52, which is fantastic. And Gwenu with 7.48. And Pereira with a 7.46. So some really good numbers there, it has to be said. Key passes, look at the top 3 really. Alexander Isaac, Graf and Pereira. 89, 63 and 61 respectively. It's a very good return really. It means we're creating a lot of chances. Key headers, obviously you guessed the main 3, and that is Ongwene, Veltman and Big Ken, the 3 centre-halves, all doing their job quite well, to be fair. Key tackles, again it's, if you exclude Ash Kigbu, who's been out on loan all season, it's all the central defenders really, Ongwene, Veltman and Big Ken. But the main ones are the mistakes, and Gaya made a hell of a lot of mistakes, 90 in all, and Gwenu made 88, with De Silva making 80. And he didn't play that many games, to be fair, didn't De Silva. Campos making quite a few, joint with Veltman as well. But looking at the goal mistakes, which is the big one, Ongwene made 6, and I'm pretty sure I remember seeing every single one of them in Europe, I want to say. He's featured on the Fail of the Week a couple of times, put it that way. Rajkovic making 5 goal mistakes, 4 for Campos, 3 for Veltman, and 2 for Lerma, Gate and De Silva. So yeah, quite a few mistakes. I'm not used to seeing that with with that many. I remember last season there were only about 4 players, I think, we had any goal mistakes. So that's a bit of a pain in the dick, really. I'm going to have a final look at my profile here, and as you can see, I mean, I start off in motivating high, and I think tactical were high, and the others were around, I want to say they were around 13s, I can't remember exactly, I'll have to look back at the original. But yeah, we weren't a bad sort of standard. We were starting in the championships. I think I set it to match to the division that we were in, and I just adjusted it slightly. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look at the most notable players that have left the club and see how they got on. Obviously, this will probably interest more of the Leeds contingent of fans. Basically, just see how they've got on. We'll look at Diagaraga first and see what kind of career he had. He left us. He actually left us to go to Auxerre, £2 million. It was a decent amount of money we got for him. It allowed us to bring in a few other players. And yeah, he did alright first couple of years. but then he seemed to drift off a little bit into, poor form, obscurity. Is that even the right word? Probably not. Then he found himself at Ecuador, Emelec in Ecuador, but made one appearance by all accounts. So that's Toumani Diagouraga. Next is Gaetano Berardi, the Warrior. He's a fan favourite, it has to be said, at the minute, and he left to go to Brighton for £1.6 million. Basically one of his first players to sell. He played for about 5 games for us. Did well in his first season in his 2 appearances. What's the point even going if you're just going to sit on the bench? But we were trying to sell him. I think he ended up getting upset because he wanted to leave, so let him go. And then he found himself going to Birmingham on loan, making a few appearances and doing dreadful. And then went to Peterborough last season, made a decent amount of appearances, got a decent rating, and then ended up going to Northampton, but played pretty terribly. That's Gaetano Berardi. Liam Cooper is next, and he still looks pretty much exactly the same. Doesn't look like he's improved at all. Doesn't look like he's declined at all. He's currently at Rangers. I'm pretty sure he left. No, he didn't. We left to go to Aston Villa. We got a bit of a sign on, I think, when he left to go to Rangers for $725,000. But he's done all right. To be fair, a couple of performances close to 7. Maybe this being his worst season. His second season at Villa. But otherwise, a solid sort of career. So that's it for the first season. We'll have a look onto the season following, and let's have a gander. Who did we let go? I won't bother looking at John Butaka because he's not really featured for Leeds, so it's not really anyone of any note. I will look at Marcus Anderson because he did well for our first season. Obviously got 23 goals for us, left for £3.6 million, and didn't really set the world alight at QPR. Ended up getting, letting go on a free, and he ended up going back to Sweden, to IFK Norrköping. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Let us know in the comments below. And since then, he's done alright. 5 goals in 12 appearances isn't a bad return. Let's have a look at this snake that is Charlie Taylor. If you're not a Leeds fan, you're probably unsure as to why I'm calling him a snake. It's because he refused to play for Leeds in the last game of the season. It didn't matter that he was going to be leaving or whatever. Just there was no reason for him to refuse to play. I don't understand why he did it, but it's all done. It's all dusted. He's gone to Burnley. On the save though, in real life, he ended up leaving on a free, of course. Ended up going to PSC Zwolle in Holland and played very well, to be fair. 7.24 and 7.45, and then he got a move to Tottenham for 2.6 million, which is dirt cheap, to be fair. Used mainly as a backup, looking at that, 10 appearances, and then got a move for £4 million to Norwich City this season, which I forgot to actually have a look. Did they get relegated in the end? They did get relegated in the end, so he couldn't stop him from getting relegated, but had a decent season overall anyway. Next is Ewan O'Kane, who, he's a decent player. He's not spectacular. Came to us on the transfer deadline day in real life last season. One of Monk's signings. Didn't really feature for us in our second season, so we sold him for £1.1 million to QPR, and again, decent first season, and then declined drastically. He's still at Queen's Park Rangers. I would guess he's probably going to get let go on a free at the end of the season. A bit disappointing from his point of view. Marco Silvestri was the next player that we let go. Pescara is at now after leaving us to go to Brescia, how I pronounce it. 400 grand. Cesena, I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm not very good with pronouncing Italian names. He had a decent season in Brescia and got a 725 grand move. Did alright, I suppose. 6.84 if you consider how many goals that Rajkovic conceded, and got a 7.02 average rating. Then 6.84 conceding 56 goals, I suppose isn't too bad. But made one more appearance for them before going to Pescara. And did alright, to be fair. Conceding 1-1, it's obviously not amazing, but it's not terrible. Not like this or Rajkovic's standards. Anyway, next is a few players just to have a quick look at. Kamara Roof being one of them. Ended up going to Nottingham Forest from us for £1.9 million, which I didn't think was a bad return, to be fair, albeit in real life we paid £3 million, I think it was, for him. Never really set the world alight, didn't get tons of goals. I know there's other people had success with him. People like Martinho got game. He has a lot of success with Kamara Roof. I just couldn't get the same out of him, so I had to let him go. And ended up going to Huddersfield Town, 550 grand. It's not great, is it, really, to be fair? But never mind. Next to go, I was a little bit gutted with this one because I do like Luke Ayling. And he's a decent player, to be fair, and he did quite well for us. But he did leave for Maribor for £1.7 million. It was a decent amount of money. And you know what? He's had a really good career since leaving us, to be fair. Look at those average ratings. 7.85 last season. It's amazing. 14 player of the matches. It's crazy paving. That was a bit high-pitched. Let's try that again. Crazy paving. That's better. Then the start of the more well-known players. You got Belushi, who everyone hates at the minute. Went on a free to Empoli. Sorry, not to Empoli. Went on loan for 2 years to Empoli and then went on a free to Espanyol. Played terribly again. They are absolutely shocking ratings. Ended up at Guingamp in France, League 1, 275 grand, and did equally as poor. Chris Wood, next on the list, 4.7 million we sold him for. He's actually out of contract this summer, that's why his value was so low. But, you know, I thought that was a decent amount. He had 2 decent seasons for us, really. Well, 3, but no, two decent seasons for us, really. Average rating wise, but never really set the world alight afterwards. Kaiserslautern and found themselves at Osnabrück in the German second division on loan. Didn't really feature much there. Then we actually sold Suleiman Dakar, believe it or not, for £3 million. How? I have no idea. But I was happy to take that money off them. He went to Pescara. He was another player, but look at those ratings afterwards. Did well for us, 7.08 and 9. But absolutely appalling afterwards. Then one of the most gutting transfers. We lost Ronaldo Vieira to Southampton. Deadline day signing. This is why we bought Harry Arter. But yeah, he's not really done anything. I mean, look at how much they spent on him, and he's played 27 times. And not really setting the world alight when he has done. 7 times this season. It's disappointing. Sam Gallagher, one of my signings, one of my first signings as well. He just never really fit into the system. And, you know, he played about 49 times for us. Like I said, not really setting the world alight. And we sold him for 5.25 million. He's now at Crystal Palace after spending a couple of years in the Championship with Bristol City. And yeah, he's now valued at 11.75 million. So maybe it's something I missed out on there. Alex Moa, we sold to Wolfsburg for 7.5 million. Let's have a look how he's done. He's been there since. And he's been absolutely appalling. Look at those average ratings. Somehow he's valued more than what we sold him for. 7.5 million we sold him for. He's 8.5 now. I won't bother looking at Tyra. Dembele, this one was a painful one. He had a minimum fee release clause. And yeah, he has done okay afterwards. Not like done as well as his 1 year he spent with us. But yeah, 7.16 his first season was decent, but his second season at Schalke, terrible. Kyle Bartley, we actually signed permanently after his loan spell, and we sold him to Aston Villa for 5.75 million. He did okay, but only played like half a season. And then, shocking performance for Villa. I found himself going out to Sheffield United in League 1, a 350 grand transfer. That's a massive loss. Then we lost Timo Horn. Timo Horn, £30 million, went to Liverpool. How did they get on? You know what, 70 average rating, 77 average rating, for only 6.91. We made 10 million on him, albeit we did lose out some like sign-on fee or whatever it was. But yeah, maybe I was a little bit harsh on him. Did actually do decent in the first half of the season last season. Maybe he's one of the reasons why we conceded less goals. Him and Ruddy anyway. Stuart Dallas, he was another one we sold reluctantly really, but he had a major bad injury. And he was never going to feature after that. He did well in his first season. First 3 seasons, really, to be fair. And he continued his form for QPR in his first season. And just touch less than 7 average rating for QPR in the Championship. That's probably his level, though. It was alright as like a backup for the first season or, you know, a rotator. And yeah, I'm pleased to see him do quite well. And yeah, his value has dropped somewhat, but he's 30-year-old. Then moving on to our final season. Let's have a look and see how the players that left performed. Adam Webster. Reluctantly sold him, but got 12.25 million for him, which I didn't think was bad. He's had a decent season, 7.02 for Everton. Everton were in massive need of defenders. I think that's their weakness on this year's Football Manager, and they definitely found someone decent in him. Delafeu had too many wingers. I had Watt coming back and everything, and Tottenham came in for him, and I thought I could probably use the money. So I sold him, 22.5 million, made more than double, and to be fair, he's gone there, played 4 games, got 1 goal. Why? He did have a bad injury for us as well last season, so that's one of the reasons why I sold him. Next is Javi Manquillo. I was umming around which one to sell, him or Faraoni. Ended up being Manquillo, and yeah, we made a lot of money on him, and he only played 11 times. Played against us, but he played 11 times in all, and never really reached the heights that he did with us. And then Matty Downing, the last remaining player, I think it was at the time, who was actually at the club at the beginning of the season, outfield anyway, and that is Matty Downing. He left to go to Hearts at the beginning of the season, 525 grand, not really performed that well, 6.66 average rating, it's not very good. And then finally, and then moving on to the next one, we've got Calvin Phillips on a free transfer. He was there right at the beginning, did well in his first season for us. There it is, and even in the second, in his promotion-winning campaign, he did well, averaging just over a 7. But every other season, he's been out on loan and not really performed that well. Ended up leaving on a free. Did get a bit of money from him going out on loan, but yeah, he was never going to make it in the Premier League. Then finally, I'm going to check out Matthew Knox first. Bit of a gutted about him, really. He just didn't develop into a complete forward as I wanted him to. He's not really a false 9 neither. He was at the bottom end of the false 9. If it had upped his areas for that, I think he would have been really, really good. I mean, his driven personality was improving a lot, just not in the right areas for what I needed him for. But yeah, we sold him for 1.9 million, which was a lot less than what I wanted to Sheffield Wednesday, and he's been bang average. In fact, worse than average. But never really featured much for us, but got a couple of goals for us, so it was nice seeing him. And then finally, we're going to have a look at Jordan Larson. Bit gutted about selling it. It was between him and Clough. In some ways, I wish I'd have kept him instead of Clough. Sold to Bristol City for £5 million. Again, in Premier League, he didn't really set it alight. What he was good at was the European side of things. He got 20 goals all in all. Yeah, he did do wonders for us in that regard, and I know he's been a massive player for my team who got game in his Leeds save. But yeah, a bit gutted about letting him go, but £5 million, I snapped their hand off. It was just something else to try and buy these players over here on the left hand side. And that is about it, I think, for everyone that we need to look at. If there's anyone missed, obviously let us know at the end. So just going to have a quick look at the final standings, just in the Premier League in terms of player stats and review, just before we wrap up this video. And Isaac looks like he's the top scorer, joint with Icardi. Icardi who just can't stop scoring, apparently past Leeds. Isaac and Pereira, the best players in the league. It'd be interesting to see if they win it. I think they probably would do. And then look at the assist charts, dominated by Leeds players. And everything else, well, you're not going to find Rajkovic on there, are you, clean sheets. But yeah, that's going to be it, I think. So that is it, guys. That is the end of Life at Leeds. I want to thank absolutely everyone who has supported it at any point, even if you've just come back for this last episode because it's a finale. I want to thank everyone who's actually commented and liked it, and even disliked it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, end of the day. But you know, I've had a lot of fun making it. I've had a lot of fun editing things as well. It's inspired. A lot of the games have inspired my Fail of the Week series, which I'm loving that as well. And yeah, it's just been a really fun journey. I just wish it had finished off a little bit better. We did get one cup win, the FA Cup. In a way, I kind of wish I'd ended it then on a high. But I actually thought we were going to win the Europa League, if I'm honest with you. When we got Chelsea, after absolutely trouncing Liverpool, I thought, oh, we've got Chelsea, we're their built team. Surefire win, is that surely? And it turned out not to be. We got absolutely destroyed by Icardi, and the season was over, basically, especially after drawing to Norwich. But that's it. End of the season. Hopefully you can stay tuned. I'm going to show a little clip of what's going to be happening in the next series that I do. Just keep your eyes peeled for it. So hopefully if you enjoyed this video, if you have, why not press that like button? Just gotta like it just for the fact it's finale. Even if you don't like it because you're glad it's over. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, And yeah, as always, hopefully you'll join us for the next thing that I do. I have to say that, not the next one, because it's the last one. Shut up, G, you're waffling. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye bye. See you later, Billy. Been fun. What's this ringing there? Is that GW? Yeah, speaking. Hey mate, it's Craig David. Do you remember us when we had that proper bow time on that cruise ship? Right, okay. Oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah, you're alright laugh on it. I've got a proposition for you. Alright. What do you think, to joining me? It's in a foreign land. It's proper bow. And it's hot. Okay, yeah, I'll come see you. I'm gonna need an answer as soon as though. So what do you say, G? I suppose my answer will be